What's up, everybody? Brady Figueroa here, coming at you with the best rock and metal singles of November 2024. And wow, what an awesome month November was this year. Not only were there several high-profile album releases, but some of the singles that have been dropping have been pretty freaking good. And there's been a lot of high-profile single releases as well that I will talk about. As always, I am limiting this video to just strictly singles. If an album dropped within the month of November and there's a song that you really enjoyed from it, go check out my channel, see if I reviewed the album. There's a very high possibility that I did, and I most likely talked about that song. And if I didn't, then leave the song in the comments below. And let's get right into it. First things first, the song that I've probably repeated the most throughout the month of November, I just loved Thy Art Is Murder's new single, Through Blood I Purify. This song is just, it's everything I want out of deathcore. It's mean, it's brutal, it's super heavy, but it's also really catchy and has some really just genuinely hooky vocal refrains. Also, the vocal performance from new vocalist Tyler Miller is awesome. I love kind of his different styles of screaming, especially when he kind of does those more inhale type screams, those mid screams. I honestly think fans were a bit too harsh on him when it comes to Godlike, their album last year. He was just kind of thrown into the mix last minute. That album was written and originally recorded with their former vocalist CJ McMahon. So even though Tyler did perform on that previous record, it was last minute. He was kind of just thrown in there. So this song is really the first true music we're hearing with Tyler from a songwriting standpoint. And if you ask me, he fucking kills it. Just the way he says, bow your heads before your master, and just the layered vocals in the chorus, and just, oh, it sounds awesome. There's also that really mean riff that kind of pops in and out. It closes the song and it comes after that chorus section. I love that. That really reminds me of Hate, just kind of with its more mid-tempo groove. I think this song is a serious contender for my favorite deathcore song of the year. There was also the new song that Machine Head dropped, which actually featured vocalists from In Flames, Lacuna Coil, and Unearth. And it's pretty freaking awesome. One thing I really like about this song is that every vocalist has their distinct parts, that you can always tell who's doing what. One thing that I immediately feared as soon as I saw that this song dropped was that it would just be a bit too busy and too much going on, but it's not at all. It has that super catchy chorus, and it's funny, even though really the only band out of all four of these bands that I would consider myself to really be a fan of is In Flames, the different influences merge together so well. I think overall, I could best describe this song as a pretty even combination between Machine Head's groove metal and In Flames' melodic death metal. There's definitely some very prominent melodic death metal inspired riffing, but there's also that stomping breakdown in the bridge, there's that solo, there's the more somber parts from Lacuna Coil vocalist. I don't remember her name off the top of my head. And the song overall has a very triumphant and uplifting feel to it, which I really enjoy. Spiritbox dropped another song off of their new album, Tsunami Sea, that'll be out in March, titled Perfect Soul. And while Soft Spine, the original single that I talked about in, I think it was September, was super heavy and encapsulates all the heavy aspects of Spiritbox's music, this song really encapsulates all of the melodic parts that I enjoy pretty much just as much. Much like many of Spiritbox's melodic cuts in the past, especially off of their only full-length album, Eternal Blue, that I actually just talked about in my 2021 Best of 2021 Albums video that I uploaded a few days ago. This combination of Courtney Neal Plant's very soulful vocal performance and the very rich sonically and just sonically full production make this song just so inviting and warm and cozy. I don't know, it's really hard to describe, especially when it comes to a metal song. But it just is. It takes all of my favorite parts of modern metalcore, combining it with post-metal elements and even this slight Evanescence type vibe, especially in Courtney's vocals. I especially love her melodies and cadence in that kind of post-chorus section where she really soars, and her vocals almost end up getting absorbed into the mix to almost act as a backing instrument of sorts. I really got to compliment the production on this song. Spiritbox's production on pretty much all the material so far is excellent, and this song is no less. Jinjer released another song off of their upcoming album Duel called Green Serpent, and what I like about these Jinjer singles so far is that they all seem to have a very distinct identity towards them. I've talked about all three of them, and I think all three of these monthly singles videos that I've talked about so far. And this song stands out yet again, just from the fact that it's a bit more mid-tempo. It kind of alternates a bit more between the heavy melodic parts, whereas other songs were kind of melodic and turned heavy as they went, or they were heavy the whole time, like Rogue was. This song is a lot more of a roller coaster. It also uses a lot more exotic type melodies versus the kind of eerie melodies that were exhibited on a song like Kafka, their last single. Tatiana's vocals are always a highlight for me. I say that on literally every video I talk about Jinjer on. I always say that. Her very inspired lyrics are also a huge plus on this song, as is the case in Jinjer's entire catalog. But she really does make prominent use of metaphors in a way that does really convey her message, and you can tell what she's actually singing about. Dipping our toes into rock territory now, which might turn some people off, but I don't give a shit. The new 3 Days Grace song, you know, as much as I still don't really think Matt Walsh is the best fit for this band just because of how his voice sounds and his style of lyric writing that was prominent on My Darkest Days, this song is just so fucking catchy. It's just one big hook the entire time. I don't care what kind of music you listen to. You could be a metal elitist for all I care. If you don't listen to this song and think it is just super fucking catchy, then you gotta get your hearing checked. That's all it comes down to. So that is a huge plus for it, but also just hearing Adam back on a 3 Days Grace song just instantly gives me just this huge wave of nostalgia, considering I grew up on 3 Days Grace's music. 1X and their self-titled are two of my favorite rock albums of all time. Don't get me wrong, like, it's not a perfect song by any means. I said that in my quick track review of it. Like, there are times on here where the vocals do sound very synthesized and processed and almost auto-tuned at parts, which does turn me off a little bit. There's those corny airplane metaphors, especially in that bridge, and parts do feel a little bit recycled, like the bass intro sounds almost identical to Animal I've Become, and then that main riff reeks of My Darkest Days' first album, but it's just such a fun and enjoyable song. I can't help but like it. And another song that I gave kind of a mixed review on that I'm still finding myself listening to and coming back to is the new All That Remains song, Forever Cold. I think the biggest part of that is just the lyrics, because as an All That Remains fan, any All That Remains fans watching this will understand, but the lyrics really, really hit home, as I can imagine they did and they do for the band, and it's probably one of the most meaningful songs the band has ever written. My biggest issue with the song was the production. It sounded really compressed and thin, especially in the guitars, and I didn't like that. But once I get past that, it's just a beautiful song. Like, that acoustic guitar intro totally encapsulates something that Ollie would have written. There's the solo and the guitar licks pretty much throughout the whole song are just so emotional and really just tear-jerking at times, and they convey the emotion that the song conveys in its lyrics and Phil's vocal performance really well. Everything just fits so perfectly. And as I continued to read more of the lyrics, I found them to be maybe my favorite part of the song. They are super inspired, and I especially love the actual title being Forever Cold, taking on kind of multiple meanings, as you could make a case that it's the anger in Phil's heart that's going cold, as in he doesn't want to give up his fight, or it can be taken in a literal sense, as in the cold case. He doesn't want the murder case to turn into a cold case. He's saying he won't let it go forever cold, and the delivery in which he says that is also really great. Superheaven released an amazing spacey alt-rock shoegazy song called Long Gone, which I found myself really enjoying. It's just super atmospheric. It's got a really just irresistible and catchy bass groove that drives the song, and in true Superheaven style here, it just, again, the ambiance that it maintains the whole song, and it just keeps you, it almost just puts you in like a trance or something. And last but certainly not least, 5 years in the making, one of my favorite bands ever, Killswitch Engage, finally released a new song called Forever Aligned, and it gave me exactly what I wanted. Without rehashing everything I said in my track review of it, it feels familiar, but it also feels new and fresh at the same time, with that hardcore influenced like palm muted riff in the verses with those pounding snare drums. There's the knockout clean chorus, which is just classic Killswitch. I don't give a fuck that it has the tambourine behind it. Everyone's talking so much shit about that, but I love the texture it brings. Melodic bridge is great, and I, of course, love the clean guitar, that serene clean guitar outro that, again, is just classic Killswitch. So I covered a lot of songs in this video. November was really a great month. But again, if I didn't get to anything, definitely comment them below. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.